welcome to a late night edition, a pandemic edition, to our number one guest, our highest rated guest of all time, Reese J. Blahuta, coming at us out of the 204, parts unknown, Virginia, Maryland, somewhere over there on the bad side. Reese, how we doing tonight, baby?
Dude, we haven't been better. I mean, this is a good night. It's a good night for the situation we're in. Thank God for technology and FaceTime. God knows where I'd be without my good buddies that can talk to on the phone or on a computer
and on Skype. And now that you've become a world known podcaster,
there's at least 30 people that know about me that didn't before. So
let's talk a little bit about Blackjack, Reese.
That's one thing I know about me.
I like this because I got some stories, Reese. I got some stories. Would you rather play blackjack 15 deep or stone cold sober?
Oh, I mean, that's a very, very tough question.
Because when you get, see, here's the deal.
You should be Ted Koppel. I mean that is the most cutting question I've heard. Oh my! I mean that you just cut me to my core, my soul. I know I'm tooling out, but fuck, that's a tough question. I mean here's the problem: is you're 15 deep, you're immune to the pain, but sober, that's why we play. Is that pain?
Okay, but you can't start on the felt 16 deep. Okay, you can, if you can get 16 deep on the felt, you've either got a lot of staying power in reserve or you're up. Okay, you're up. If I'm 16 deep on the felt, I got Magento sitting in front of me. I got stacks of black sticking in front of me. Okay, but the thing is, how did I get those cards? How did I get those chips? I didn't get those chips. There was no luck involved in getting those chips. Okay, for me, I sat on third base like a man, and I played every card the only way you can play it, immaterial to the doofuses to the other side of me. It's my belief, and I'm glad it's my belief, and this is a lifetime of blackjack playing, that if you got a strong first base and you got a strong third base, the idiots in between, you got a shot. Okay, you don't have much of a shot if you're sitting over there on third playing it right and everybody's playing it wrong. You're gonna bust out.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that, like, circle back to this where we began here is what you do on a hard 16, and I think that resonates throughout your whole life. Like, what are you going to do when shit hits the fan? You got 16, the dealer's showing a 10. Are you going to answer that bell? Or a hard 15? I mean, those are both very difficult questions. The answer always is, as we always all know the answer to every question, but are we going to touch up the felt and pull it? And I mean, I think that's where life's made. I think they could a book or a self-help or whatever it may be could be very adequately written by what goes on a blackjack table, because I mean it's such a microcosm of life. It's such a microcosm, because I mean you got money. There's nothing more real. There's nothing more personable than life, and the worst situation you can be in is a hard 16 or a hard 15. And
okay.
Are you going to touch up that felt, or are you going to stand? I mean, in that, I can tell you, after 30 years of playing blackjack, the answer always is, regardless of the value of your bet,
skin it.
is skin that motherfucker. That will get you more. You might not win that hand, but you will win in life if you have the fucking balls to touch that felt.
Now, you did mention, I love touch the felt. You did mention something about what you have out there. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to skin a 15, to skin a 16 when you got $5 out there. Okay. You put a green chip out there now. All right, maybe my tension goes up. We like that tension. That tension is called fever. Now you got a black up there. You got 2 blacks up there. You got 5 blacks up there. Now we're gambling. Okay, now we're gambling. See, literally, as I've got $500 out there, my.
Can we play blackjack right now? I mean,
I have cards.
No.
I'll be the dealer. I'll be the dealer. Oh
no.
Let's do it.
I'll play for money, but.
Well, it's payday. It's payday. It's payday, and I got PayPal. I mean, I don't have very much reserve. You can bust me quick. Yeah, man, I tell you, I've been on some tough beats. Tell me about some of your tough beats on the felt.
I mean, I got to preface that with saying the first time I ever played blackjack as a child, I was 15 years old on a cruise ship, and I ran it out of money. They never said they seen luck like that. Like my mom and I, we made $100,000 in 7 days.
How did they let you play?
Because we were in international waters.
15-year-old, were you drinking too?
No, I didn't even. I was wearing sunglasses and smoking a cigar, but I wasn't drinking. I mean, the worst human being ever. The worst human being ever. And they actually had a red velvet rope around us. And to tell you a funny story, like.
Now, was it just you and your mom against the dealer?
Well, I'm going to back up, and I'm going to try to make the story as quickly as possible. But
no, we've got all the time in the world, Grace.
What the fuck we got to do? Everyone's going to die of some bullshit virus. I grew up in a family of gamblers, and my grandpa was an orphan, and he grew up swindling and.
I like the word swindle.
Yeah, that was a pretty good word. So. Anyway, like my earliest memories is that we went to the dog track. We would go pawn shit. We'd go pawn TVs or statues. I remember all these things to get money to go to the dog track on Saturday matinees because they would let little kids in.
Out there in Gresham?
What's that?
Out there in Gresham?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
My grandpa had a Cadillac. It was license plate was blacked out and shit. But at a very, very young age, I mean, we're talking kindergarten, first grade, I could read a dog book. And a dog book is not the hardest thing in the world, but it takes you got to have someone show you what you got to do. So
I agree.
I mean, I could tell you, Here Comes Rebel and all these dogs. Like, I knew the dogs. They were like what Michael Jordan and, Karl Malone were some kids. Like, Running Rebel was to me these fucking dogs. Like those were my heroes. Was these fucking mutts that were running around for? It's crazy. So I could read a book. So the next evolution in that lifestyle was blackjack. And blackjack is not like poker, and a lot of people like to say it's like poker, but it's not. Because poker, you're playing the player. Blackjack, you're just playing the probability. And if you memorize every hand, then you can memorize what you need to do, and it just becomes an objective, which I think I could do like in the second or third grade, which is, how we did not get like swooped up by child services is beyond me. I mean, so I could never play until went on a cruise when I was like 15. And we were in international waters, and they allowed, my mother was a big player because I knew my mother, they allowed me to play. So I was
15. Because your mother was a high roller. They're like, yeah, he can play.
Yeah, because it's really like casino rules. They're not going to, booed us out because, you know, it's the casino rules. So anyway, I started playing, and my parents, to teach me a lesson, gave me $400 to play blackjack. And what, by all counts and purposes, I went on the greatest run that every dealer in that casino had ever seen. I won
100 grand's a lot. 100 grand's a lot of run.
I won $30,000. My mom won 70. And I mean, we were playing two hands each, $300 max per hand. So we each, and then people were coming in and like trying to play with us. So they actually put a velvet rope around us, and there was a crowd behind us that would cheer us on. And I mean, I was 15. I had, you know, the fucking Southern mop, and I had sunglasses and a cigar. You know, just, I mean, the worst human being ever.
Why do you keep saying that?
I mean, yeah, can you imagine a 15-year-old that's like, could you imagine watching a casino of like smoking a cigar? I mean, it's.
I don't know. I actually like it. I actually like it. I like the story.
So a guy came up to me, and I had ordered a Diet Coke. This is my favorite part of the story, but a guy, and he was the waiter. He was from Croatia, and I don't remember his name. I wish I did, but he came, and I was ordering Diet Cokes from. I had no recollection of money. Nonetheless, I tipped him like $25, which I didn't really know if that was good or bad. At the end of the night, and we were cashing out the casino at the cage. It's what when you're really degenerate, they call it the cage. They don't call it you're cashing out the cage. So he came up and he said, in his broken English, he just said, where I'm from, $25 is a lot. I really appreciate it. This means a lot to my family. And I just said, stick around, buddy. It's only going to get better. And so that week, I don't know what I tipped him, but it was in the thousands. I mean, it was gun to my head. Like, if you had to say, like, what, I would say probably 2,000 to 3,000, but it could have easily been 5,000. I mean, it was black chips, but I mean, you put a 15-year-old kid, you give him $30,000. You don't know what that means. So, to make a long story short, we had the velvet rope, and when you come into Miami, you get so close to the international waters that the dealer comes in and calls last call. And you got to understand, we had pit bosses, we had security around us at all time because they thought we were cheating. They'd never seen luck like this. And so when we come to Miami, they call last call, they put all the money. Every dealer in that place got up out of their cabins at 3 a.m. and came up and stood in line and clapped. And my mom and I walked down like a makeshift red carpet and shook each one of their hands. And they were so, they said they'd never seen anything like it. So then we went over to the cage. I mean, how often have you ever heard a story like that? We went over to the cage, and we cashed in our chips, and the lady was paying us in hundreds, and she started paying us in 50s, and they got to 20s, and then got the 5s. And then she freaked out and said, I have no more money. You guys have taken all of our money. And apparently, in like the casino, I don't know how to international water, that's a really, really big deal. But she said, please, like they took us into like a different room. They said, please don't tell anyone. We'll send you a check. You have all of our money. So
what happens? You can't. Did they owe you money?
Yes, the casino.
So
So
that's the worst.
A line of credit on me.
That's 15. The worst situation to be in. The book owes you money, yeah. And to the action, what can you do? You can't keep. The only thing you could do is try to give them their money back. What did you guys do? Did you quit playing?
It was the last night as we pulled into Miami, so we couldn't. I mean, everyone. The run was over, but nonetheless, I mean, anyway. So we came back into Miami. We had $100,000 in cash, which I mean to me is a lot. And there was a small, and I was literally punching as hard as I could to get the door shut. And then, so my mom's a heavier person, so we took these fanny packs and we put the cash in the fanny packs and we belted them under her to get through security. Because if you claimed it at that time, that you're talking 40%, you lose. But the best part of the story, at least to me, was I went on a cruise again. Like, it had to be like 10 years later. And I was just sitting there and at the bar drinking, and this lady was looking at me, the pit boss, and she was like looking at me, and she's like, she came over and she goes, "You're Lynn's son." And I was like, "Lynn?" She's like, "Yes." I was like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "You don't remember me?" She's like, "I've told your story many a time." She's like, so we were the legends of
Man, I can't come over the top of that story. I'll tell you two quick ones. Randy's fighting Josh Barnett in Josh Barnett, isn't that his name? Yeah. So it's late. It's
Bennett Barnett mixed.
Yeah, it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm sitting on first base at $100 table. And the only other player playing on third base is Bruce Buffer.
Yep.
Bruce Buffer, he's the UFC guy. Michael is the boxing guy. Exactly. Okay, so Bruce Buffer, and I'm like, hey, woo, woo, woo. He's not, I mean, the UFC's not anything near what it is today, nor is Buffer or the fighters or anything, but I know who he is, and we start chatting. He is playing, I'm playing $100 to $300 a hand. He's playing 3 hands, and he's got a G on every hand, at least. And I'm killing it, and he is getting murdered. I'm killing it at 100 to 300 a crack playing one hand. But I get to spots on that table where he's got $4,500 out there. Okay. He's got 8, he's got 8s across the board. I got a 6. Okay. Dealer's got a spot where automatically I would hit. But with the guy having that much money out there, I asked him every single time. And he was like, we were both sober as a judge. And every single time he said, you got to play it straight, and I played it straight. He got murdered. I mean, he kept signing markers out.
That's when you go deep.
He had, he's a real player with a bunch of money. He had a bunch of money then. I don't know if you know this or not, but they made millions in the video game business. Huh? Oh yeah, he does this. Shit. Huh? He does. They make so much money. Bruce Buffer, the Buffers are worth a lot. I mean, a lot of money. He does what he does.
Like, let's get it on.
Oh yeah, they've had that forever. But that's not where they make their money. They make their money in video. But he did tell me, hey, if you see anybody doing, let's get ready to rumble, get a hold of us and we'll pay you for it. But I want to say about him. So he had to lose all of 60 grand, but he took it like a man. He was cool. He was presentable. He was cordial. He lost 60 grand like a man, but you could also tell that 60 didn't hurt him a lick. I probably won because I stayed there. I wasn't going to get off that seat because my seat was hot. I took, I come up 5,500, and that's before I was playing for the throat. Okay. 5,500, that's a real number. But out of all of the MMA people I've met, not all of the cool guys and this, that, and other, that guy to me, at least, and that was the only time I ever met him, was the most straight shooting, real dude. That out of all of them, I enjoyed the experience. I mean, I won. He took it like a man. He didn't drink a drop. I was sober then, so I wasn't drinking either. Really enjoyed that experience. And then I got a Pat Sennett story for you. So I'm up. Now this is years. This is years later. Pat's now gone. I'm up 20 dimes, and it's my last night, and I want to go home. I've already told Miss H, I got 10 grand for you, which means I'm going to take 10 grand back to the shop, give her 10 grand. So I've probably got $2,500 of funny money, to just piss the last night. So I go and sit at a $25 table or whatever, and Pat's already passed away at this time, and his spitting image, shirt absolutely pressed, pants absolutely pressed, sits down, and he won't hit a card. He's playing $500 a hand, and he won't hit a card. He will not hit a bus card at all. The most ridiculous thing I've ever said, but I'm like, oh my God, this guy's acting just like Pat. He's irritating me, but I'm like, he's saying the same things Pat would say. And then so I'm getting ready to pull away. I see a little what do they call them? What are those entertainers that they work there late at night, and hookers. Okay. But she was 3 dimes on the dozen, man. She was all there. And I look over, and he sees me looking at her, and he says, "Local girl, lot of talent."
Sure.
And I was like, "Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother." And I lost all my money. He busted me playing that. He didn't hit a card. I mean, who does that? And his theory, but he was winning with that nonsense. I was playing third place. He's sitting next to me playing a nickel a hand. He won't hit a card no matter what. And I'm playing third like you're supposed to play it. And I lost my 2,500, but that was actually worth it. He said, "Local girl, a lot of talent."
They say that one hand does not impact the other. So they say that however I play my hand, the guy next to me, the guy on the other side, it doesn't affect. With that being said, you still got to deal with the fucking table and all the street knowledge, So you got to deal with those guys. So I've always played it straight.
What are you saying? You're saying probability wise, it doesn't matter if the random they could cut tens and do whatever, and hit 17s, and they could do whatever, and it won't.
I mean, I saw Chill hit an 18 and pull 3.
Yeah, but I mean but you're gonna, if you're sitting down to play blackjack for the duration, it's gonna bust you. It's gonna bust you. Evan Tanner.
Law of big numbers, like the house has the edge, and the longer you fucking play it, the more effect that big number is going to have. 51-48 or 51-49, or what? It's more than that. But nonetheless, yes, the longer you play, that will happen.
Evan,
they say that your hand has no effect on the person's next to you's hand, but that may be true and that may not be true. It sure the fuck doesn't feel like it's true when you're at the table. And then you got to deal with them all too. Like, I mean, I know that when I was like 16 or 17, I think I was, for whatever reason, I played at the Hilton in Las Vegas. They would let me play without an ID. And I know that I was at a table of mobsters. I mean, they were, you could just tell by their vibe. And of course, I was somehow, these always revert back to Melanie, but Melanie was there and she was smoking a cigar. So I think that's why they let me.
Are you referring to Melanie?
Yeah, they let
777s.
I think that's what got me on the table, was that she was so fucking incredibly sexual. But there was like 7 places at the table, and there was 5 of them were this group of I mean, absolute mobsters. And one dude didn't know how to play, and the other one was me. And I'm sure that dude got roughed up that night. It was fucking. They were pissed, and they were, you know. I mean, you're 16 or 17, and they're putting their arm around you and buying you a drink. I mean, think about doing that now at 45 when you're when you're with mobsters. It was pretty cool. They were
All
good.
right, I'm gonna actually use this one. This was good. I'm not gonna hang up on you. I'm just gonna close this, and then we'll come back and start another one, which we probably won't use. Thank you, Reese Lahuda. This was enjoyable. And thank you for joining us, my friend.
I should just wear a jersey that says 16.